much for joining us here on KGW Plus at 12:30. I'm Stephanie Domerat. Our Chris McGinnis will join us in just a moment for a look at your weather impact alert forecast. First, though, let's get to your afternoon's top stories. National Guard troops mobilized to Oregon by President Donald Trump will soon be heading home. This morning, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek announced U.S. Northern Command had given the order to demobilize the 100 Oregon National Guard troops still stationed here. Now, those troops will now travel to Fort Bliss in Texas before returning to Oregon as civilians. 2 of 3 suspects arrested in connection with the death of a 13-year-old boy were in court this morning for a bail hearing. Xavier Hirsch and Anthony Hunter Jr. both face murder charges, among others, in the death of Liam Spalney Bailey. Liam was killed in April of last year while asleep in his father's Gresham apartment. A stray bullet from a shooting at an adjacent apartment went through the wall, hitting him. Liam later died of his injuries at the hospital. Hunter was arrested in August. Hirsch was arrested in October. The third suspect, Terrell Coy, was arrested in November. We will have more on today's hearing ahead on our afternoon and evening newscasts. TriMet is asking for the public's input on proposed cuts to services later this year to fill a $300 million budget deficit. TriMet says they have already tackled half of that through things like internal cuts and pauses on future routes. Now, these changes aren't set in stone and would not take effect until August. You can find more information and the maps of those changes on TriMet's website. And we are calling for a weather impact alert day today. There is a winter storm warning in effect for the Cascades. It's expected to bring the biggest snowfall of the season. The snow finally heading our way. Meanwhile, here in the valley, we are looking at wet and windy conditions. Let's get right to Chris McGinnis, who's in the Weather Center for us.
Yeah, so live up at Government Camp, it is snowing and starting to snow harder in the Cascade Passes. This is Highway 26 right now. As Stephanie mentioned, winter storm warning continues for the Oregon and Washington Cascades for the next 48 hours or so, well through Thursday afternoon. So be prepared as the conditions get more and more treacherous up there. Up a little higher on the mountain, of course, up at Timberline, it's colder. It's 24, and it's starting to snow pretty hard up there as well. So yeah, the weather impact alert is for the biggest snow of the season so far in the Cascades. If you have to travel over the Cascade Passes or out over the Blues in eastern Oregon over Interstate 84, you need to have either traction tires on or have chains with you, as likely those restrictions will be put in place as we go through the duration of the storm. Here you can see the rain and the snow flying up the Cascades. We'll put this into motion over the last 3 hours. Believe it or not, the valley getting a little bit of a break, but as I say that now, the next batch of wet weather creeping in just to the west of downtown Portland. It currently looks dry, but it's not going to stay that way. 46 last check at the airport. The south breeze up to about 13 miles an hour. As we mentioned, that breeze is going to start to pick up. Let me walk you through the afternoon with Futurecast. The next band of steadier, heavier rain arrives probably right during the afternoon commute. Here we are at 4 o'clock. We'll let the clock roll towards 6. Some of these yellow and orange bands representing rainfall rates of maybe 2 to 3/10 of an inch of rain per hour. So a quick shot of some heavy rain and some gusty wind for the afternoon drive. It'll be wet and breezy down low and snowing hard and steadily as you go up into the high country. We'll break that down in more detail coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay,
Stephanie?
We'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks so much, Chris. A new overnight emergency shelter has opened its doors in Southeast Portland. The Southeast Grand Recovery Shelter is for people looking for a drug and alcohol-free environment. It'll be open from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. each night and into the morning. Now, the shelter has 140 beds, though it can expand to 200 as needed during severe weather. Transition Projects will run the shelter in partnership with the city. As part of a community engagement plan, there will also be a focus on keeping the area within 1,000 feet of the shelter clear from other campers. Meantime, the Multnomah County District Attorney is creating new accountability around the county's deflection program. In its first year, Multnomah County spent more than $8 million on the program. Law enforcement referred 520 people to deflection, and just over 100 people completed it, which means they followed through on a referral. Now, DA Nathan Vasquez plans to charge people who don't, quote, meaningfully engage in the program. KGW's Blair Best asked him what that would look like.
What it really comes down to is the person actually taking some steps. Did they go to some meetings? Did they enroll in a detox center? There are lots of options, and I'm someone that believes there's a lot of different pathways to sobriety and to getting healthy, and so I'm not trying to be overly prescriptive and say it has to be this one way or the other. It's about allowing for many pathways to treatment.
And you can watch the full interview with Vasquez streaming anytime on our TV app, KGW+. And now to the latest in the capture of ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. While the U.S. operation has drawn widespread condemnation from governments around the world, many Venezuelan refugees are voicing their support, though new questions are being raised about the future of Venezuela's government now going forward. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez has more.
Venezuela is on edge today after mysterious gunfire erupted in Caracas overnight. Witnesses say that security forces opened fire on unidentified drones. And two White House officials tell NBC News that the U.S. was not involved. Now, this all comes as questions mount about the future government of Venezuela. Yesterday, Delcy Rodriguez formally was sworn in as Venezuela's interim president following Nicolas Maduro's capture. Rodriguez has softened her initial tone and is now offering to collaborate with the Trump administration, even as her government ordered police to arrest anyone involved in supporting this weekend's U.S. attacks. Also, exiled opposition leader and Nobel Prize winner Maria Corina Machado, whom President Trump said does not have the respect to govern Venezuela, now says that she plans to return to her country as soon as possible. President Trump, meanwhile, has said that he is focused on Venezuela's oil, indicating to NBC's Kristen Welker that the U.S. may have a presence there for a while and saying that the U.S. may help oil companies rebuild over a period of months. Across the region, however, there are growing concerns after the U.S. State Department posted a taunting image. This is our hemisphere. President Trump has also weighed in on the future of other countries in recent days, saying Cuba is ready to fall and that the U.S. could make an operation in Colombia, which sounds good to him. Now, here in Colombia, the president has called for sovereignty demonstrations tomorrow. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, Cúcuta, Colombia.
Meanwhile, we're also hearing from a former Venezuelan diplomat who's now living in the Portland area. He emphasized that many Venezuelans, as well as foreign governments, didn't recognize Maduro as the country's legitimate president. Alejandro Martinez, who came to Oregon as a refugee a couple of years ago, calls the arrest great news for his country. Martinez spent years fighting for justice as a leader for the Venezuelan Democratic opposition. At one point, he served as ambassador to Colombia for the interim democratic government. He says many people don't realize that before dictators came to power, Venezuela had a strong democratic government.
We have had a parliament that did the job, that respected the constitution, the institutions, in which a country in which political parties could go to elections, and that was respected. Maduro controlled the executive powers, of course, but also the legislative power, the judiciary, and even the electoral power.
Martinez hopes his country will now begin to rebuild its once lucrative oil industry and regain its balance of power. Straight ahead on the news at noon, it's been 5 years since the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Now we're hearing from the lead prosecutor in a case that's become a historic political flashpoint. And later, with just a month to go before we are shredding the slopes of Italy, meet one of Team USA's figure skaters with a personal connection to this year's venue.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back. Today marks 5 years since the January 6th attack on the Capitol. It's also been almost a full year since 2 men from the Pacific Northwest were released from custody after President Donald Trump granted clemency to roughly 1,600 people charged in connection with that attack. This afternoon, we're hearing from Special Counsel Jack Smith, who says his criminal case against President Trump was never political. Paul Wagner has more.
The criminal case filed against President Donald Trump for allegedly attempting to overturn the 2020 election was dismissed after Trump was re-elected in November of 2024. Last month, the man in charge of that investigation, former Special Counsel Jack Smith, defended his case in a deposition before the House Judiciary Committee.
One of the strengths of our case and why we felt we had such strong proof is our witnesses were not going to be political enemies of the president. They were going to be political allies. We had numerous witnesses who would say, I voted for President Trump.
Smith also told the committee his work was never political, and the evidence against Trump was incredibly strong.
The evidence here made clear that President Trump was, by a large measure, the most culpable and most responsible person in this conspiracy. These crimes were committed for his benefit. The attack that happened at the Capitol, as part of this case, does not happen without him.
More than 100 officers were injured during the 2021 attack on the Capitol.
Multiple law enforcement entries.
That's the voice of D.C. Police Inspector Robert Glover, who told News 4 in July of 2022 that the violence was so fierce he thought some officers would be justified in using deadly force.
I could see the fear in a lot of the officers' eyes.
A plaque honoring the police officers who defended the Capitol on January 6 has still not been installed on the west front of the Capitol. It was authorized by Congress back in 2022, and it's now the subject of a lawsuit in federal court. The lawsuit was filed by 2 officers who hoped to force the architect of the Capitol to finally display it for all to see. But the Department of Justice, which is defending the architect, wants the case dismissed. For now, the location of that plaque is unknown. To mark the 5th anniversary, there will be a memorial march organized by January 6 defendants, including former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio. Tarrio was pardoned by the president and says justice has not been served for Ashley Babbitt, who was shot and killed by a Capitol police officer inside the Capitol. A flyer posted by Tarrio on X says that march will begin at the Ellipse just before noon and honor all the lives lost that day.
All right, time now to check in with Chris with a look at your weather impact alert.
Okay, snowing in the Cascades. Of course, that is the primary reason for the KGW weather impact alert, and rain moving into the Willamette Valley, or returning, I should say. Not only that, but we're going to have the breeze pick up as well. So it's going to be a bit of a gnarly afternoon drive. We'll walk you through all of that coming up after the break.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
All right, all those people who've been asking for snow, finally your day.
Finally, yeah,
Yep.
big snow. So KGW weather impact alert up in the Cascades for major snow over the next 48 to 60 hours. The winter storm warnings continue up there through Thursday afternoon. Not to exclude, by the way, the folks out in eastern Oregon. I-84 is also included, the Blue Mountains, I should say, included in that winter storm warning. The impact through Thursday, heavy snow in the Cascades and the Blues. You will need either chains or traction tires at some point once ODOT put those restrictions up there. It's going to be really hard to get over the passes. This is the live look right now in government camp. It has become increasingly snow covered since earlier this morning. And actually, this is just the beginning. I mean, the snow is really going to start coming down up there as we go into this afternoon. Snow level today right around pass level at about 4,000 feet, but the snow levels come down tonight and down more so tomorrow all the way down to 2,000 feet. Those big bullseyes, by the way, of, 3-4 feet of snow will be obviously on the tippy tops of the Cascades, but ski resorts easily looking at 2 to 4 feet of fresh snow. So the most meaningful, most significant snow of the season so far. Gusty winds through the passes, so obviously know that. And then down low here in the Willamette Valley, it's going to be a rainy and breezy afternoon commute. Rain beginning to return to the west side. This is the live look from the Reserve Golf Course and Vineyard there. The breeze starting to pick up out there at a low at 13. Here's a look at the live scan of radar. Again, we had a little break in the action here in Portland and Vancouver, say from about 10 o'clock until noon, but the rain is now moving back in. And this is the main event now beginning to work its way into Clatsop County and Columbia County, the leading edge of the 3-4 hour band of steady rain that will produce rainfall rates on the order of 1/4 of an inch per hour, timing up with the afternoon commute. So it's going to be a wet go of it. And as we mentioned, the breeze is going to start to pick up as well. All right, rainfall totals today, impressive on the order of maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, maybe upwards of an inch in the valley. And then as we roll the forecast into Wednesday and Thursday, additional rainfall tomorrow on the order of 1/2 an inch. So it's going to be a wet go of it here for today and tomorrow for sure. Here comes the main band of rain at 4:30 right through the heart of the metro area, and give or take 1/2 an hour. I think we're looking at about a 2-3 hour window of really steady, substantial rain. Again, we could be talking about rainfall rates of 1/4 of an inch per hour for a few hours, which will obviously put some ponding on the roadways. We get a break overnight, and then storm system number 2 sweeps ashore tomorrow with more rain, lowering snow levels in the Cascades, and then getting peppered with frequent, numerous showers for the remainder of the day on Wednesday and into early Thursday. All right, wind, that's going to start to pick up a little bit out of the south this afternoon. We could see some 30-plus mile-an-hour wind gusts for a time in the valley. We could see wind gusts to 25 to possibly 30 again tomorrow with that next system. The breeze is already starting to pick up in Salem, where the sustained wind at the airport is up to 20 miles an hour. Downtown, the sky getting a little darker. The breeze out of the south at 13. The plan for the rest of the day, rainy and breezy, with temperatures inching into the mid-40s here in town. Mid to upper 40s, we'll do it up and down the I-5 corridor. And then whatever you get today, shave off a degree or two for tomorrow as we start to cool down the atmosphere a bit. Sun and showers on Thursday. And then just like that, Stephanie, after a wild day today and tomorrow, we go into the all clear Friday and beyond into the first part of next week.
Yeah, pretty calm looking. All right. Thanks so much, Chris. Well, still ahead, we are a month away from opening ceremonies of the 2026 Winter Games. After the break, we meet a Team USA athlete who's in for a homecoming of sorts when she arrives in Italy.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Well, with just a little more than 1 month to go, we are counting down the days to start of the Winter Olympics here on KGW, and so are the athletes set to represent Team USA. This afternoon, we meet a figure skater, Isabeau Levito, who's got some personal ties to this year's Olympic host city and a passion for pasta.
110, take one, coming to mark.
What languages do you know?
Well, I speak English, but I'm a little fluent in Italian.
Can you share with us a little Italian?
Ciao, mi chiamo Isabeau Levito. Io sono una patinatrice. Oh, that was good. Hi, I'm Isabeau Levito. I'm a figure skater, and I'm from New Jersey.
Milan is her mom's hometown. She said that Italy really felt like home.
How many times have you been to Italy?
6 or 7 times. I have a grandmother in Milan and an uncle in Milan.
What do you like about Italy?
The food.
How do you feel about pasta?
Very passionate. As a child, I had a difficult time with traditional breakfast foods. Like if I ate a pancake, I would go pale and sick in the face. Wasn't a fan of eggs, wasn't a fan of meat. And well, pasta was my favorite, so I ate it for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Do you still eat pasta for breakfast?
No, I've become somewhat normal.
Wow, the journey to the 2026 Olympics begins.
What are you most looking forward to for Milan?
I've never experienced an Olympics, so I'm just excited to experience everything and see what my favorite part's gonna be.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW+. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW+. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
All right, before we get to Chris's final weather, check out this security video. It was from, over the weekend at a music store in Tennessee. Your eyes are not deceiving you. That is a monkey running amok in the store, tossing around a box, playing with what looks like maybe a keyboard. Well, his name, turns out, is Chester, and he got in through the pet door. Despite Chester making a big mess, the store owner says no instruments were damaged, just a lot of fun was had, apparently. Chester was eventually captured, and officials are now investigating how exactly he got there. Must be a cute pet. He has a name, so he's a pet.
Chester.
Very cute.
Yeah.
I love him.
Hey, with the monkey.
He's looking for his band.
Getting into the
he's
band,
looking.
yes,
He's trying to
yes.
audition.
All right, we are going to be raining to beat the band here in a little bit as we go into this afternoon. Steady, heavy rain now pushing into the Oregon Coast Range. Snowing lightly up in the Cascades. That snow will continue to get heavier as we go through the day today. So KGW weather impact alert for big time snows in the mountains and a rainy, breezy afternoon drive here in Portland.
Brace yourself for today and tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here on KGW Plus. We'll see you back here this afternoon at 4 o'clock.